What is going on, viewers of YouTube? Since we're here, guys, my review of the Combiner Wars Leader Class G1 Variant Megatron. As per usual, I do want to highlight the packaging. It's pretty much standard. Do have your clear front here where you would see the figure inside. Obviously, I don't have them in here. This says Transformers on the side with the Generations and Autobot symbol in the right-hand corner. It does say Megatron with the Decepticon symbol down there, as well as some various Hasbro logos. This beautiful concept art image of the character himself. You could tell that this is very G1-esque, especially with the bucket head. I just love how the art style is, because I'm pretty sure the box art is actually designed by the guys who make the cards that the figure comes with, which, by the way, are the guys who designed the comic book arts. Besides the box, nothing too much going on here, just pretty much playing with the Autobot symbol down there. The other side has another great image of the character, again, very stylized, really nice. To say Combiner Wars there, and the back of the box is a bit more interesting. Megatron in this very standard pose. I really don't like what they did here, and there's this vehicle mode with several information pieces, you know, that it changes to 15 steps, how it's a shell former and all that, kind of pathetic, but yeah. And here's a description of the character. If you'd like to pause and read that now, you can. As for the figure himself, this is really impressive. This is definitely the favored version of the Combiner Wars Megatron series, the previous one being the Armada version of Megatron. I just want to say that this one is just absolutely beautiful. Love the paint, and especially the new head sculpt. Let's take a closer look. Now, straight off the bat, you could tell that this is obviously very G1-esque, and I say that with most of these Combiner Wars reviews, because technically these figures are based off the, not really the G1 toys, but I guess it's a mix between the characters and the toys themselves. But besides the point, he has a bucket head! Finally! I love when Hasbro does this with their Megatron series, and they did really good with this. They nailed those little eyebrows, or I guess it's part of the helmet. I always imagine these black pieces above the eyes as eyebrows, like the translucent eyes, how they just glow red, and I barely have any light sources behind me, and it's still glowing. It's just so beautiful. I love it, and putting it in, especially in front of a light bulb, just makes it even more beautiful. Actually, twist the head all the way around, give you a better look. Unfortunately, there's a giant screw hole back here, which kind of ruins it, but it's not too big of a gripe that I have, and you know, the separation between the back of the head and the front of the head with this giant crease here is kind of bothering me a little bit. I think they could have hidden that bit better, but it's still a beautiful sculpt. I love how they made the mouth and the cheeks and everything. Just everything's so smooth. Just realized how gay that sounded, by the way. That being besides the point, the rest of the figure is, if not more impressive, just as impressive as the head. Just want to say that the chest, although it didn't really work with the Armada version of this guy, definitely works with the silver paint job and the head sculpt as well. Because you can tell that, especially this bottom piece with all these buttons and these linings that kind of look like vents, were from the G1 toy and the character, so it really fits. I absolutely love the paint schemes on this Decepticon symbol, these little purple bits that, you know, there's no paint smears around those, which I do appreciate. And again, I love these vents. The paint scheme is absolutely beautiful, and just moving around the figure, you know, he does have quite a backpack, I will say that. It's not too big of a deal. I mean, technically you could separate them. I don't know why you would do this. Maybe just for some transformation variations. I like to keep them closed. The amount of detail they put on this is really great, and the silver paint job is surprisingly shiny. Really, when I expect Hasbro to make their figures, you know, gunmetal, silver, whatever, I expect a very dull paint job, but not this time. This is really good, very shiny, very impressive, and I am just really stoked that they did that. And the real gripe that I have about this is the shoulder pieces here. They kind of stand out, and they're on this kind of rackety joint, so you can really only get in certain positions. You could keep the arm completely parallel to the body, or like that. Or like that. You can't really get any leverage there, unfortunately. Love what they did with the cannon. Great paint details. Wish there was some more silver bits and stuff, since it's just a solid, very bleak black plastic, and you know, there's some red bits here, but that's just a button to fire the missile. And by the way, I do have the missile in here. I'll show that feature in a little bit. And yes, we do have rubber tracks. I love when Hasbro puts rubber pieces on their figures. It just makes them so much cooler. And unfortunately, there's no ankle pivot. I'll get to that more in the articulation, but again, kind of a bummer. And if you do feel like firing the missile for, you know, any little kids watching, since this is technically a toy for little kids, I guess it's for collectors, but I'm getting off the point here, but all you do is press this button and it fires the missile. As for articulation, this guy does have a ton. His head can fully rotate in a full 360-degree motion. He can go up that much, down that much. His arms are on this nice bracket joint. I'm just going to put them parallel. He can rotate fully as well as go out and in again. I don't like how you don't have much leverage here. He has a 90-degree rotation there. No wrist... actually, yeah, he has a full wrist rotation there, which is cool, and his chest is fell apart. No abdomen articulation, unfortunately. That really kind of sucks, honestly. Legs can go forward that much, back that much, can basically do the splits. He does have a 90-degree, almost 90-degree rotation at the knees there. His feet can go up and down, and a very, 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 very slight ankle pivot. As for size, you could tell that the Armada version or variant of G1 Megatron here is obviously taller because of the ears, but overall the same mold, and because this is the only G1 figure I felt like reaching at the moment, and it is Rodimus Prime, he is about half as tall as them. And here he is next to my alpaca. As for accessories, yes, he does come with his missile, which I just showed you. Nothing too impressive, very, very basic, and I'm gonna spend no time on this. Just as the Armada Megatron that I reviewed on my channel a few months ago, he does come with the standard, I guess it's a rifle, which can actually, by the way, split into 2 pistols, which I absolutely love. He's not gonna be holding these in robot mode, but in tank mode it looks absolutely beautiful. What this guy does come with that the Armada version didn't come with is stickers. Now, I don't know why he came with Autobot stickers. I have no idea. I get these stickers down here and these vents right here and the Decepticon symbols because the G1 figure had those, but the Autobot symbols make no literal sense. And I do have to mention he does come with an instruction manual, nothing too special, pretty straightforward, shows you all the steps. I don't know why anybody would need this. This guy, like the back of the box says, transforms in 15 steps. And my favorite accessory by far is the collector card. Now, I don't know how well this is appearing on camera. It's actually a bit of a darker orange and stuff in the background here. But this thing is so beautiful. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is actually made by the people who make the comic books, and it can definitely be seen. The amount of detail and art style they use is just so uncanny, and I absolutely love collecting these. Alright, people. This is where it gets ugly, and I'm going to say this with every Transformers review that I will ever do on my channel. I suck at transforming Transformers, so if you like to skip to a portion of the video where he's actually transformed, be my guest. I would not blame you. I am just embarrassed of even doing this. Let's get started. Now, knowing that this guy transforms in 15 steps, it makes me feel a little bit less stupid, so let's begin. Basically, straighten out the elbows, nice racket joints there, and slide down this little, I guess it's a forearm plate, just fold it down to cover the arms here. What you do is rotate the head all the way around. You don't have to, I just recommend. Just make the arms parallel to the body, same with the legs here. Now take this giant chest area and just move it all the way up. Now what we do is take the feet and lift them up. Spread the knees apart, they're on this nice joint. Put the arms all the way up. Rotate this giant piece, lift it to the side, and you could tell there's a peg right here and right here. Well, that's a hole, that's a peg. And just clip it together nicely. Now that that's done, you take these back portion pieces, spread them apart, showed that earlier in the video, slide them up, and you could tell there's a hole right here, peg right here, and just align them. Do the same with the other one. They could slip out easily, so just saying. Now from here, you take the legs and just clip them in. You could tell, hole right here, peg right here, and just kind of manipulate it in. Make sure not to damage the rubber parts. I'm always paranoid with those, even though they'll die over time. What you do is extend the gun, and he is in tank mode. And I missed his crotch. Oh my god, that has got to be a little bit painful for this guy. Anyway, this guy is in vehicle mode, and he's looking pretty cool. I wish he was a gun, but Hasbro is not allowed to do that because little kids will buy this, go on the street, and get shot. Now that more of his vehicle parts are exposed, you can tell there's a ton of detail put into this. I love the paint job. Very shiny, and again, I don't have the strongest light source out right now, and you can already tell things reflecting really nicely, just giving a bit better view. You can tell the Decepticon symbols right there, nice and symmetrical with the little cannon here. A lot of detail at the top with all these red and silver bits here. A little bit too complicated for my taste, especially since it's G1. I prefer him, obviously, in robot mode, and yeah, I would like this to be a gun, but you can't. But the one thing I absolutely love is that if you look down here, barely any robot kibble. And mainly because this guy is a shell former, and yes, people, this unfortunately is a shell former, and I don't consider this a transformer in that sense. And if you want, you can actually, it's not really a feature, but you could put his crotch piece down like this, just kind of manipulate it down. You can cover this part here so you don't show that much of robot kibble. I like keeping it the way I did, just because it covers his hands back here, so that's just me. And if you want, you can actually just put the missile in here. It actually looks cool with the missile in here, and you can take his giant rifle, and there's some pegs at the top, one right here, so basically what you do is separate them and just stick them on however you want. This can go here if you want. It really does not matter. And again, I prefer these on the vehicle mode instead of the robot mode, just because look how cool it looks now. It just looks so much better. It looks like a real military tank. And yeah, the red missile, I mean, if you remove it, it does look way more realistic, and it won't shoot for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, it's because I extended it. And it just looks so cool like this. So overall, this is such a cool Combiner Wars figure. If you are a G1 fan, or a Combiner Wars fan in general, this should be on the top of your list if you don't have this by now. This is a must-have. It is so rare when we get variants or even G1 interpretations of Megatron. And although this does not turn into a gun, we still get a great-looking tank and a beautiful paint job. And with that said, people, if you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you viewers do on a daily basis, and I will see you guys in my next video.